Yeah. Yeah. So don't call the goddamn phone. Don't message the goddamn Instagram. And you won't see him at school. Now get out the fucking line.
I want to continue this conversation of child rearing and life. Elgin was kind enough to send a video to us, and it was a Instagram video of a father disciplining his child on the gram.
Quote unquote disciplining.
Quote unquote disciplining his child on the gram.
What is it, Kush? Per? Za? I got some goddamn za for that. Yeah, get your ass up. Bend that ass over. Bend that ass over. Make that weed breathe. Yeah. Turn that ass around. Turn your ass around.
I watched that video now and I cringed. Like it made
a
me.
Brief backstory, just a little glimpse, because I don't want to go too deep into it. But this father found out that the son, his young preteen son, had been smoking and being disrespectful to his mother. He found that out, and he felt that the way to get his son to change his behavior and to never do those things again was to take his phone, prop it up, turn the camera on, log on to Instagram Live, call his son into the room, take a belt, and begin to hit his son with a belt repeatedly with a belt, under the guise in his thinking that that was going to be the thing that was going to change his son's behavior and negate his son's disrespect to his mother. Now, I'm going to stop here and say this one thing that I always say. Children are the only group of people where it is encouraged to hit them in order to change their behavior. No other group of people is it encouraged and seen in a positive light that hitting them is the way to get them to do the right thing. I saw the video and I immediately I was enraged. I was enraged watching the video. I was also enraged and felt a certain level of disgust and hopelessness reading the comments of Black men and Black women cheering and saying that is what our children need more of. Using that old excuse. That's what happened to me, and I turned out okay. And I'll be the first one to tell you, motherfucker, if you think that is okay, you did not turn out okay.
There's a lot of self-reflection that needs to go on for these people to recognize that some of that stuff wasn't. Go ahead, Crush.
I mean, look, my bottom line, that was excessive. That was extremely excessive. I can understand. I've seen a father's anger at something like that, especially involve the disrespecting of a mother. But that was excessive, and this is coming from a man whose father decided not to ever beat their children because he himself got beaten as a child and promised that he wouldn't do the same. My mother, on the other hand, was a different case,
bruh.
But not with me. My sister.
Oh, that's usually how it works.
But
that's usually how it works.
But in all honesty, I only have memory of one beating in my entire life. What that father did was excessive. It was a gross abuse of parental power. This is the only thing that you are building in that boy is resentment.
It's hate. Yep.
Resentment that will turn, fear to resentment to hate.
I try not to interfere too much in the way that other people parent their children.
Yeah.
I try not to interfere too much. I'm going to
Yeah.
offer my opinion. I'm going to share. I believe in the village, community,
Yep.
parental
Absolutely.
ideology. I believe in that. But I try also to be incredibly empathetic to parents when
Because
they
it's a
find
difficult fucking job.
themselves in moments where they are pushed to that limit where you really don't know what to do. But I think the moment that I pull out my phone and I have to pull up IG and I got to push record, I got to put the phone down, I got to
Get
go
the
pick
proper
up.
angle.
I don't.
Narrate inside of the damn
That's
video.
that's a
This
level.
wasn't
That's a
a me
level.
getting angry, a
That's a level of
premeditation.
calm anger. That's a level of calm anger.
Yeah.
That is
As a level
terrifying.
of seething anger that, you know,
Yeah,
I mean, now mind you, there may be another whole another dimension to this. This child may have a disciplinary record this high in school. And the father that day may have been the father at his wit's end after
sure.
2
Yeah.
years of madness, of clearing out his house with blunt guts and weed smoke, talking to him.
Yeah.
He probably kept talking to him. We don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that day was the snapping day. We don't know.
Every parent has been to that point where they want to put their hands on
Yeah,
their kid.
I can imagine.
Every parent has had that day where they have wanted to grab their kid and give them one good shake. Just that that gets you.
Especially when you've
Because
been patient with it. Especially when
tell
you've
it,
been patient.
yeah,
You've been patient.
especially when I
You've
done
been hands
told you the
off.
same
You've been
thing
cool.
over and over again. What?
And they keep
I didn't
fucking with
give you
you.
the same thing, and now you want to embarrass me? You got other people calling me? Oh no, bro. But again,
I mean,
I
parents,
as
fathers
someone
in the
who
room. What's the breaking point?
I was I was in my 20s when I first became a single dad with my oldest daughter, Chantel. I grew up underneath the belief that spankings was required part of child rearing, right? That was part of
It's
how I
part of the
grew up,
criterion, my guy.
part of
It's
the
on the syllabus.
criteria,
You
and that
gotta do it.
Yeah.
if you didn't do it, you was on that white shit. You're on that white shit. I grew up in mentality, but I also I shifted in my child rearing because I was a grown man and I had a daughter, right? And I could not phantom for me. Now I'm not going to make it seem like it was some automatic switch that went off that I stopped doing that. I remember one time that me and Chantel might have been in her teens, and we went out to a diner, me, her, and my cousin, and I had warned her. I was like, kept telling her, like, yo, you keep popping, like, yo, you gotta watch your mouth, yo, easy, relax, relax. And I remember us sitting there at the diner, and she said something slick, and I hit her with a quick backhand,
Mm.
Mm.
right? Shut the whole thing down, the behavior stopped, all those things. But she talks about this many times, she'll bring it up, particularly with the idea and understanding that I will never hit the three little ones that I have. I've never hit them. Never hit them. She's seen me apologize to them. She's seen my parenting with them be wildly different than what it was her.
And let me guess.
And
The
of course,
question is, where was this nigga when I was growing up?
it was until me and her had a conversation where I apologized to her for that behavior and told her that I can't go back and be different. Like that
Right.
feeling of where the hell was that to that when and having some animosity and frustration towards me because of that, absolutely fair.
Mm.
But for me, what led me to taking this path that I'm on with my kids now is again, I cannot be in a position where I am modeling a certain type of masculinity. That at some point in time, that if you go beyond what I desire as a man, my response may be withholding something from you physically, doing something to you physically, and using the justification, well, if you had just listened to me the first time when I said it, things would be different. So for me, it had to be a shift because
Yeah.
I want to be when they have their mates. I want them to say, "That's not some shit that my dad would have did to
Yeah,
me.
my dad would
That's
never
not that."
tolerate something like that.
My dad, no, no. But and again, understanding the pressure that parents are in, understanding what we go through. So if that dad would have just pulled out the belt at that moment and he hit his kid, because in the midst of the height of the frustration, I probably would have a wildly different response for this. I probably be like, yo, my man need to figure out some different ways to handle this and address this type of moments that wasn't acceptable. But I understand. I don't condone it, but I understand. But motherfucker, when you set the phone up though,
But
I think that's the part that got me, bro, is that it seemed very like it's one thing if, like you said, if it's in the moment. It's another thing when it seemed like there was almost some level of gratification from embarrassing him that way. That was the part that like made me really shrink
that was
back. Because
humiliation.
It seemed like he was getting off on it to some degree, like he was hyping up for the. It felt
nope. I think that's fair.
He was talking to the camera and the whole nine, and I'm like, I don't know what he thinks he's getting from that. It seemed like there was some level of satisfaction from it, which is why it made me cringe so much, because my parents used to always tell me that, hey, when they spanked me or when they spanked me, they didn't get any satisfaction out of it because I'm their child. They don't want to hurt my child, but they thought that they were doing the right thing. It seemed like he was enjoying, at least in the moment. He seemed like
or seeking validation.
My guy.
Yeah. Bro, if you ever punch somebody in the mouth who deserved to be punched in the mouth, there's a sense of satisfaction that you get. And, I done told you all this time to stop touching me. And you keep touching me.
And nothing would be better for that sense of satisfaction, gentlemen, than applause.
There it is.
Oh, yes.
Niggas somebody sing applause for every time they got theirs.
All of a sudden.
I mean, for every time that you got yours in life and somebody was actually applauding.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? That's what social media does for people.
I dig it.
It is.
Let me ask you guys a question, because it was funny that L dropped that video, because earlier I had just seen a video of a man who single dad who was called to the school because his youngest daughter is bullying people in the school, and it had gotten excessive in terms of the bullying, right? So he said he's soft on his girls in particular, and he didn't know how to address his daughter's bullying behavior. So he gave his daughter, and I put that in quotes, understand what I'm talking about, gave his daughter to his mom to discipline or to deal with. And his mother, with him accompanying them, took her to the police station.
Come on. It's okay. Come on, it's okay. It don't matter. Come on, let's go.
Dad, what did I even do?
It's okay.
Kensington has been suspended 4 days.
It says 2 days, but we're counting today and then tomorrow.
Yeah. Right. So what happened was, over the last, honestly, since the beginning of the school year, we discussed this with Mom. Her behavior has been shoddy, but like when we say something to her, she'll adjust and she'll listen to us and then fall back in line. This semester, she's given. You ever seen that movie Mean Girls before with Lindsay Lohan, Regina George, that whole thing? That's what she's acting like. Walking around bullying people, calling them out their names, talking about their parents, talking about their clothes, their smell, just to get anything to provoke these kids.
In the video, he said that his mom did that to them as a way to scare them into behaving properly. So she gets taken to the police station and she has the police officers talk to, these are black women, mind you, too, behind the officers that were talking to the girl. Like, hey, I want you to tell this girl what happens to people that bully and mistreat other people. The young girl starts to cry in the police station. And one of the officers, a female officer, like I said, black female officer, says, we don't want our children to be afraid of the police, so we got to be careful about us doing this. But yet and still, this grandmother thought that the best thing to do was to essentially do a scared straight situation.
I got to take responsibility for her actions here as well. So I just have to Give her a reminder that she represents more than just herself when she's coming to school.
Right.
And after that conversation, I packed her little yellow butt up and took her over there with my mama. My mama always got that little special sauce, right? She know how to be mean to the kids. I get a little too soft a little bit with the girls, but mama still know exactly what to do. I was just following the plan. Would you believe my mama took my baby down here to the police station? She was scared to go in there. She used to take us down there when we was kids. They take us in there, show us around, scare us a little bit. I don't know how it's gonna work with this generation. I know Kenzie walked in there, turned around, looked at me like, Daddy, you really gonna let her do this to me? And clearly I ain't doing enough. Now, why is it every time it's time for the bully to talk up, right? Starts, stating they claim they want to start getting silent. Now, no, speak up now. You so tough to school with the little Hispanic boy.
And tell her what y'all do to bullies.
When people do bad things, you get consequences, baby.
You too nice.
Okay? Well, I don't want babies to
We
be scared
want
of police.
enough.
I was about to say, I don't want our babies to be scared of police now.
And this guy, once again,
That is the
he
most
narrated the entire thing, basically saying that he didn't know how to handle finding out that his daughter was this menace outside of the home, and his mom had dealt with menaces before, so he handed her over to her. So I'm going to ask
the biggest menace.
I'm seeing the looks on your faces. So go ahead.
Story is probably more heartbreaking than the brother who whipped his kids and beat his kids on IG Live.
Bruh.
I am absolutely mind blown how to me, and I think this is an exaggeration. To me, it gives the image of a young enslaved ancestor taking their misbehaving enslaved child to the overseer to have the overseer, hey, whoop my kid, explain to my child what happens if he's not a good slave, if he's not a good Negro, if he's not a good
But
pickaninny,
but you know
he's
what
not
though?
good, and he's going to end up getting. I can't understand how we
Damn.
But no,
condition with the
I think
that we have within ourselves is wild.
I think a big part of it is that this generation is probably the worst PR we've ever seen. I mean, we're talking about a decade plus of videos of kids raiding stores, doing flash mobs, hanging out in the streets, skipping school, and then you seeing all these different posts and little from frustrated teachers. How many of us have seen the posts about the frustrated teachers?
Yeah, I give you that.
And all the horrendous stories about how they can't read, they don't do math, they walk out of class, they throw shit at me, and we, this generation is the worst PR ever.
Yeah,
the worst PR ever.
Absolutely. I think that those stories, and again, I'm always going to be on that's white people's fault. Even when I hear teachers talking about children, black children, struggling from an extreme behavior standpoint, I'm immediately going, system, white people. I'm not ever going to be like, black parent. I am always going to go to them for their role in this. But I think there's some areas and something deeply wrong with us in our desperation, because this dad was looking to have his child be a better person. He wanted her to be a better human being.
That was the
and
desired
he was in
outcome,
such desperation that he took it to grandma, trusting grandma to be the one to do the thing that he was unable to do because he was at his wit's end. And in her ignorance, she believed that taking her to the police station was the way to correct this child's behavior, and viewed her tears as contrition and not a trauma response. Like I don't understand. And I get my personal politics spills into this conversation because we have a rule in this house: not so loud. Like we don't call them people. We know that when they get involved in anything, it escalates. If you want something to escalate, get bigger, you call them. They do not come to simmer down, to
Yeah,
quell
police
violence, or
officers' job
to
is not to
make
simmer a
things go
goddamn
They
away.
thing
have no
down.
When they
de-escalation
show
skills.
up,
It's
they
0
show
to
up, things
60.
get worse. I was having a conversation with my daughter tonight that this current generation of young people has some of the worst conflict resolution skills that I have ever seen before in my life. That their view of dealing with conflict is to pack up and run or go to the extreme. There is no ability to rationalize, to resolve conflict. To them results and means cutting off and ending relationships.